Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division 2 video today by me, Vulcan. In this video I have for you Vitch versus Iadris in round 2 of the first Steel Division 2 Championship. Today they're going to be playing on Slutsk, and on the Soviet side Vitch is going to be playing with the 15th Infantry using the balanced deployment type, and on the Axis side we have Iadris using the 352nd Infantry using the Vanguard deployment type. And the 352nd with the Vanguard deployment type is not something I've really thought much into before. I've never really theory crafted a Vanguard 352nd, but I assume that is so that he can make use of quite a lot of the recon cars that we can see he's placing down at the start, as well as of course the Jagdpanther. You can probably bring one of those in phase A, I assume. Anyway, let's have a look at some of the deployments. On the left side here we have Vitch. He has a different name in game in case any of you are confused. But either way, we have a 6-pounder here at the front with a Daimler AC. There's going to be 2 rifles there, a defense group, another Daimler AC, and the Churchill 4. This Churchill 4 has APCR shells and AP shells, but no HE shells, which is quite significant, but does have 2 machine guns. Further down, we see a couple units of rifles, 2 units of defense group, another 6-pounder there. Then we see a Churchill 7. Now these are the big bad boys with the 150mm of frontal armor. But if Iadris has a Pak 43 or a Jagdpanther in the early game, he can pop that quite easily. So we'll have to wait and see if Iadris can break those down. Otherwise these can be a real nuisance. They do have HE shells, so they provide excellent support versus infantry with their 14,000 rounds of machine gun ammunition as well. Another Daimler AC there, rifle leader, as well as 4 units of rifles heading into the town. And on the bottom side we have another 4 units or 3 units of rifles, a defense group, rifle leader, and the Daimler AC. There is actually 4 units of rifles there. Okay. Over on the side of Iadris, we have on the bottom side 2 units of Flammenwerfers, the Panzerschreck, Pak 38 Stostrup, Ersatztruppen, the Grenführer, and the SVW 204 CDMs. There's going to be 2 of those here. We've got the Commandant at the start, so it looks like Iadris is going to be trying to set up a command network from the very beginning in order to give his infantry the edge over what will be only 1-star vetted rifles on the side of the 15th Infantry. Give me some Stostrup there, some Pioneers, some Ersatztruppen. At the front, the double Flammenwerfer Panzerschreck with the Pak 38 and the Pak 40. It's important that you place these motorcycles at the front, especially with the Flammenwerfers, so they can get to position and contest the flags and sort of, I guess, these buildings early on. In the middle, we see a Flammenwerfer here, Pak 38, 2 Ersatztruppen, and just 2 Ersatztruppen on the top side. So I just really not investing too much to defend the top side, which is fair enough. This is a very open area, so I reckon Iadris is kind of bargaining on the fact that Vitch is unlikely to push the top side, because this is a side where Iadris is more likely to push this flag in order to gain ground in these trees, and so Vitch is going to have to place defenses here to stop that happening, but will unlikely push across the open just because it can be so easily flanked from the hill up here. And like a Pak 43 or again a Jagdpanther up on here could demolish any form of Churchill push we see going. And these little Daimler ACs, they are interesting, but they have the same trouble as the Churchill 4s. They only have the AP shell. And they also only have 1 machine gun. Now they're pretty decent at shooting transports, but I say that they only have 40% accuracy. The 15 round per minute rate of fire kind of makes up for it, making them accurate over time. Rate of fire can cancel out lack of accuracy, because the more shots you can get off, the better accurate you get with each consecutive shot onto the same target. And they're also 52 km/h speed off-road and have an 80 km/h speed on-road. So maybe that's just the plan with these Daimler ACs, is to just rush up, get them on the road, and shoot transports when they come. You can see this one's already stopped, so it looks like he's kind of just using them as almost mobile AT emplacements to kill transports. But they're only going to really be effective if they can pick up a couple kills. Let's see how they do. The first one is missed. All the Flammenwerfers and the Panzerschreck are going to be getting into cover nice and quickly. Iadris is going to be pulling off the road here, dropping off his infantry and so on, so not going to lose out too much. The Daimler AC may be able to pick off the SPW-204, but does actually manage to kill the transport with the AT gun in it. That is pretty significant. I think there was a Pak 40 in that transport, because I think he had a Pak 40 and a Pak 38, and the Pak 38's already unloaded, so I think he lost the Pak 40. That's a pretty big kill for Vitch to pick up early on. His Daimler AC is in trouble though. It's taken a driver kill, and the 2-star CDM is going to definitely hit that harder with the Pak 38. That does get crew killed though. Nice reply from the Daimler just before it went down. The nice thing about these CDMs compared to the Daimler AC is they do have HE, so they can provide decent support onto the rifles. Now we see the HS-129B3 coming in. That's going to be going for the shots onto the Churchill 7. Looks like Iadris gave up on shooting the Churchill 7 and killed the Daimler instead, which is fair enough. And there's no real rush to get out of here, except from if Vitch purchases a Spitfire. I think Iadris here was kind of counting on the fact that maybe Vitch wouldn't have enough points to purchase a fighter to shoot down the HS-129 already. But the ME-109 here, that's going to come in. The G2R1 going to get the float carburetor crit. And, well, here we have a little duel. Who will win? It looks like the ME-109 is on the tail of the Spitfire at the moment. If Vitch can reply, then that won't be too bad. But currently, I don't feel like he's going to be able to do it, because the Spitfire definitely has a good chance to get out of there at the moment. Also manages to get a cheeky strafing run into the Stoßtrupp and the Ersatztrupp, and we do see the continued infantry engagement on the bottom side. Nice use of smoke here to get them Flammenwerfer close to the rifles, pin those down, manages to surrender one of them, cleans up the second with the Stoßtrupp. Looks like a little bit of a waste from the Stoßtrupp there, using a Molotov just before that died. But the fight in the sky is still going on. The two Ersatz here just holding that top side still. Flammenwerfer just holding that flag on its own. Churchill 4 and all those points invested in the top side of Vitch are completely pointless at the moment, unless he kind of reinforces this and makes a concerted effort. So it looks like Iadris should potentially have like a lead in terms of overall points, but we do see the ME-109 go down there. The Spitfire Mark 9 found a head-on, and with the extra firepower in those cannons, the ME-109 loses out, and the Pak 38 also going to get strafed to death. The Spitfire has done absolute work, took out the HS-129B3, the ME-109 just strafed the Pak 38 to death, and also cleaned up a few Ersatztruppen. So really, really good job. But Iadris still using great micro here to get on top of these rifles. These rifles may manage to clean up those two squads though, because they are very low on men. So that may be something that happens there. Yep, we do see it happen. The rifles using their Stens, the Enfields, get the job done. This SPW-204 is going to come under a strafing run from the Spitfire. Does reverse out of line of sight. You can tell that they were out of line of sight just because the Spitfire continued to fire at the same position rather than track the armoured car as it falls back. And mortar fire coming in from the 25-pounder at the start. Looks like that is getting dangerously close to the Grenführer with those shots. And the Grenführer is down to one man. It doesn't want to lose that unnecessarily, because otherwise he misses out on the Commandant bonus on top of his Ersatztruppen and the Grenadiers. We do see an 88 coming in, and also the flak filling. I am very surprised to not have seen a Pak 43, but we do see the Phase A Jagdpanther. Here it is, boys, rolling onto the field. This thing is an absolute monster, and Iadris is going to have to find a shot onto Vitch's Churchill 7. Now, this really comes down to whether or not Vitch actually lets Iadris do that, because honestly, it's going to be very difficult for, in a town, a Jagdpanther to find a clean shot onto the Churchill 7. Churchill 7 can quite simply reverse into cover on either side of the road, so it's going to be very, very difficult. The 88 here is getting picked up again Oh no! I think he tried to micro that to get away, but it just allowed the Churchill 7 to clean up the 88 before it was even close to dying itself. Damn, that's a bit of a missed micro there from Iadris. It had a nice idea, but unfortunately those pickups under fire don't really work too well, especially with unarmoured vehicles. We also see the Panzerschreck getting sniped by the 25 pounder as it continues to hit this bottom side. That was just a stray shot towards the Grenadier, hit the Panzerschreck clean in the face. We've also got this 25 pounder that's going to be starting to hit the Flakfelling, and it looks like Vitch is already setting up plenty of artillery. Another 25 pounder going to be coming in here. There's only 6 minutes 45 seconds on the map, and yeah, Vitch has already got 3 25 pounders. Definitely going for a long-term artillery strategy. The Jagdpanther, it looked like it did get a shot towards the Churchill, and it does go down. Very nice kill there. That's exactly what you bring the Jagdpanther to do. Kill the Churchill 7, and he gets the job done. What I'd like to see now, though, is that Jagdpanther not be wasted on this bottom side, but instead maybe head to the top side to clean up some vehicles there where he can see them. I'm not sure how much Iadris can actually see here. These Ersatztruppen, however, can probably see the Churchill 4, and also the Daimler firing with its gun will give away its position. But as we continue through this game, it looks like Vitch has managed to reinforce with plenty of rifles. He's getting so many guns on target at the same time that these Grenadiers, even though they have the 2-star veterancy compared to the 1-star of the rifles, are slowly but surely getting pinned down and picked off. Massive contingent of Ersatztruppen coming through though. That's 8 Ersatztruppen. 4 of them are going to be heading towards some of these middle objectives. There is a flag here and here, which is currently defended by defense group and rifles. And then we see Ersatztruppen heading into the top side of the town. But I've got to hope that that doesn't get picked off by the 6-pounder as they come across, because there is an opportunity here for the 6-pounder to get those clean kills. Not going to happen, as Iadris does unload early. Nicely done. ME-109 G2R1 coming in with the bomb there. Does hit the rifles, does some damage. But now these are 2-star veterancy. The commander has arrived. Now we can't see the command network because we are viewing the replay in the special viewer, so apologies for that. But as you can see, these rifles are getting that 2-star veterancy bonus, so this leader here is definitely in range of the commander. And I'm sure the players will be making sure that is the case as well. Hummer Mark IV coming in. Also taking advantage of that veterancy to get some clean shots onto the Ersatztruppen as they move across the open. These Ersatztruppen, as they move towards defense group and rifles, may struggle a little bit and take a bit of damage. We may also see the 25 pounders change target. Yep, 25 pounders are going to be hitting those targets as well. And Ersatztruppen are great and all, but they will get forced to fall back when they get pinned down. So artillery is a real easy way to deal with these, because even if you don't kill them, they still lose ground. So it allows you, in the meantime, to reinforce yourself. And you can see that's exactly what Vitch is doing. Bringing in more rifles. And the Ersatztruppen, in the meantime, can't do anything about that. They're going to be forced back. The rifles will just come in and replace the unit that died. And with the 15th Scots, especially on a balanced deployment type, there's no doubt in my mind that he's going to have a ton of rifles. So he doesn't really mind if he loses a squad. They're also not that expensive. The HS-129B3 has come in, did take out a Daimler, now looking for the kill onto the Churchill 4. Spitfire Mark 9 is coming round for the kill though, surely. Spitfire Mark 9 going to be given that order. Looks like this might be a bait. But can the Flakfelling stop the Spitfire before it kills the HS-129? It can. That is a clean frontal shot. Nice bait there. Allows the HS-129 to stay in the sky and go for the shot onto the Churchill 4. Very, very nicely done. Jagdpanther. What is that firing at? It looks like it's hitting the rifles in the church up on the hill. Now, this Jagdpanther could definitely be used to solidify this reinforcing road down the town. allowing for Iadris to make a concerted infantry push onto this flag. So we'll maybe see that happen. But currently it's 13 to 11 to Vitch. He's just managed to get some ground onto that flag briefly, but not for too long. HS-129 is still flying about, does take out the Humber as well, has taken out the Churchill on the top side. MU-109 G2R1 comes in with a bomb onto the defense group, doesn't manage to get the kill. So Iadris is actually wheeling these flak-fillings forwards with his infantry, which is an interesting choice, as long as he keeps them out of the 750-meter rifle, or machine gun range, sorry, the Bren machine guns here, then he should be okay. But if he gets too close, then these flak-fillings can still die very quickly. Now the nice thing about a flak-filling is it does have 8 health, so they do take a little bit longer to kill. Now, there is a little bit of an opportunity here to gain a flag if he knows that strip and move forwards with the return fire on. But we do see Iadris now investing in the LEFH 105 mils. Now these are trying to counter battery the 25 pounders, and that's fair enough, but he needs to make sure that he moves these SDKFZ7s away from them, because as you can see on this side, the SDKFZ7 dying actually did a lot of damage to the LEFH itself. And now that's only got 1 health left when it should have 8. So that's pretty significant. Also, in general, these LEFH 16 105 mils are not going to be as good as a 25 pounder at counter battery, from my experience anyway. Oh, that poor defense group got annihilated as it tried to move across the open. Now we see the rifles here. Going to get the church destroyed. Blasphemy. What have you done? Anyway, Jagdpanther going to be holding this road. Gets the clean kill onto the 17 pounder before it unloads. That is a nasty, nasty shot there. Jagdpanther holding that reinforcing road very nicely indeed. 2 Bofors going to be coming in. Looks like Vitch doesn't want to deal with the HS-129 anymore. Maybe doesn't want to invest in any more Spitfires for the time being. And we do see a Kubel coming in from Iadris. Now, I think potentially because this is a special viewer, we might not see the strike being placed down. We'll just have to look out for where it lands. This says that's Thruppen going to get absolutely slaughtered in the open. A couple of Volksdeutsche on the way. We got 4 to the bottom side to support this 380mm push. And then we have the 2 to the center to stop the rifles that are pushed up onto the hill. And we do see that the flak-filling here did get destroyed because it got a bit too big for its boots, and I guess the rifles just managed to kill it at close range nice and quickly. They are 2-star rifles, and so the Lee Enfields and the Bren there are going to do quite a bit of damage for sure. We see the rifles coming in on the bottom side road here. There goes the off-map coming down into that town. Oh, lovely hit! Hits the rifle leader, hits the rifles. Damn, that was very nice indeed. This might open up a flag for Iadris on the bottom side of the map. 17 pounder has found its way into the trees with the commander there. That's going to be looking to take out this Jagdpanther if it can get line of sight, I guess. Flak-filling coming under a lot of artillery fire. Is going to try and get out of there. Iadris has been very aggressive with these flak-fillings, that's for sure. Here come the Volksdeutsche. You can see that he's going to be using an unload at position command since the off-map has just come down, but I feel like he's just mistimed this a little bit because you can see the rifles here recovering their morale. Of course, Iadris doesn't really have a way to tell that that's the case without seeing them. But he's managed to get this Volksdeutsche into position, and these are more important because they're on the flag. But that one, it managed to get shot directly by a 25 pounder. Now, nice counter battery from the SFH 14 155 mils and the 105 mils here has managed to kill off one of the 25 pounders. But these 2 Volksdeutsche, they're falling back. They're out of there. Like, Iadris just wants to get them into some buildings that he can actually fortify in, rather than buildings that have been destroyed. Although there is a couple here that he could make good use of. It might also be because of the off-map coming down, of course. The 380mm off-map there, certainly trying to do its best, but It really missed the mark that time around. That completely whiffed. Did pin down these rifles, but no kills, no lethality really in that strike. The 3 units on the top side near the river didn't get any numbers reduced at all. So into the center, we see a push coming through with the Volksdeutsche. As long as the Jagdpanther stays on the road, it should allow these Volksdeutsche to eventually push forwards and kill off the rifles slowly but surely. But Vitch is getting a couple more rifles across the bridge. I think one of these SBW 204s would be really nice to kind of cover that road from this bottom side here. You can put something, say, in the garden of these buildings and just cover this reinforcing road as well. ME109 G6R4 going to be coming in for the strafing run onto the 203 mil. I thought he was going to go for the 17 pounder. It does actually get the kill. Wow, very nice indeed. Bofors there going to probably get the kill back onto the Bofors, or onto the ME109, sorry. I'd be surprised if that got out. Yeah, it's going down. Alright, Volksdeutsche. Got 2 more squads of rifles to deal with. We saw the off-map vehicle did drop 220mm off-map onto this area, so you can see all of Iadris' infantry here in disarray as they just fall back in all different directions. One bad thing about disheartened troops is you can't really control where they fall back and how they fall back and when they fall back. You just kind of got to deal with it. Anyway, 17 pounder has moved on to the road. The Jagdpanther has 1 more HE shell left. Not going to pin it down, not going to get the kill. That Jagdpanther definitely needs to move off that road if it wants to survive. ME109 is coming in with the bombing strike. SBW 204 also going to be moving up to get the HE on target, but the ME109 went down. The bomber is now dead. Here comes some more off-map from the 380mm. See if that can get any significant hits. We need one to land just here. That would be juicy. Well, did destroy a unit of rifles, and that was not too bad at all. There we go. That's those last 2 hits. Really, really good. That's what you like to see. But not really much to follow it up. There's only 1 unit of Volksdeutsche here, 1 unit of Ersatztruppen with 1 man left. Both of these also only have 1 man in the squad. These Volksdeutsche are going to be a little bit late to the party. So 2 more Slutsk coming into the center engagement. Be interesting to see if Vitch invests in another off-map, because I think you get 2 of those 220mm off-maps in Phase B. So we might see another one of those come in to try and make some extra ground here. But the Flakfelling, again, super aggressive with these Flakfellings, moves it really, really far up and ends up going down because of it. We see the Slutsk here trying to get into position. This 204, it's in a nice position to try and protect the road, but the Humber Mark 4s are going to get the better of the SBW 204. Not exactly what Iadris was hoping for. Another 25 pounder brought in on the bottom side, I believe. Vitch has lost 2 of these 25 pounders so far. Iadris is trying to use his artillery to counter battery. It's just a big old counter battery wall, really. We see that the 414 is gone, the 155mm that is. And I believe Iadris has already lost 1 of the 105mm, maybe 2. Brought in another one there, just trying to move them in between firing. Try and save them from counter battery, which is smart, but takes a lot of extra micro to manage this counter battery war. Micro that could be sort of focused on the front line. Volksdeutsche in trouble on this bottom. Another 2 Volksdeutsche there, 2 more following up. There's just so many Volksdeutsche. We see Stug 3 now joining the Jagdpanther in the city. Now we are just moving into Phase C now, which means that Vitch is going to be going into the 170 points per minute, whilst Iadris falls to the 110 points per minute. So a huge advantage now for Vitch in terms of points coming in, and it's really up to Vitch to bring the game back from here. Although, honestly, there hasn't really been too much advantage found on either side. ME109 going to be coming in with a potential strafing run, ends up diving straight into the face of 2 Bofors. These Bofors, they might even shoot down the HS-129B3. This one is 2-star veterancy next to the commander. That is very, very dangerous indeed. for this HS-129B3. This AA was such a fantastic investment by Vitch. It's really shut down the air power that Iadris was using to try and make some ground across the board. And at the moment, Iadris is so close to just capturing these flags. Like, there's one unit of rifles here defending this flag. There's only these two units for defending this flag, and he's just managed to capture that one. He's so close to capturing this one in the town. He's been really close to capturing the one on the bottom. That would be like 1, 2, 3, 4 more points. He'd be going up to like something like 16 flags. Be really, really good for him, but I just don't think he's going to get there. He's currently at the massive points disparity now, points income disparity, and that's going to really start to set in as these engagements continue. You can try and take out these rifles, move the VulcanHDG into these buildings, but all that's going to happen with the Churchills at range, especially things like the Churchill 6 here, they're going to have the HE shells to support a rifle push back into that area, and I can tell you now that Vitch is definitely going to be able to reinforce that quicker than Iadris is as the game goes on. But either way, nice play so far from either side. Iadris making a few errors, especially with his transports, but has managed to find the 14-10 for now, and I guess he'll be happy with that for the time being. He's just got to try and hold on to that and maybe make a little bit more ground, especially here over this flag and maybe on the bottom flag. That'd be really good. To go 16-8 would get the double tick. I think 15-10 would get the, or not 10, 15-9 would get the double tick as well. So what that means is that the tickets that each player has will decrease twice as fast, and so you're gonna win the game in half the time. But either way, we see the engagements continue here. There's just so many rifles. These VulcanHDG are in the open in a really, really tough position. We see more and more infantry being brought in. Loads of grenadiers coming in off the edge of the map. Another 105mm. Iadris really needs to make sure these SDKF Z7s are moving away just even a little bit from the 105mm. I believe the Iadris is keeping them close so that he can pick them up again if they come under counter battery fire, like nice and quickly. But the issue is a direct hit onto the SDKF Z7 is going to do more damage to the 105mm than just a standard round onto the unit itself. So got to watch out for that. VulcanHDG continuing those engagements through the rifles. We see the SBW-204 there getting some HE shells down from the top onto these rifles. Didn't actually manage to get any shots in. They're going to be going through the swamp holding their guns high. Make sure they don't get wet. This 380mm off-map vehicle, all that's going to be used for now is radio, really. I don't think there's any... Oh, the Grenfjord will provide radio anyway for the LEFH 105s. We see there again another LEFH 105 going down with the SDKF Z7 next door. And I really hope that wasn't because the SDKF Z7 was next to it, but I'm going to assume that it was. Well, we do see the Typhoon coming in. This is the AT Typhoon. It's going straight for that Jagdpanther. Does find the kill. The Jagdpanther was damaged already, so the smoke clears and we see the burning wreck of that Jagdpanther. Really good job cleaning that up. Also gives him his reinforcing road back. Those AP shells no longer a threat to his transports. But we do see Iadris only just winning an engagement here on the top side of this bottom part of the town. There's one man left, 2 men in the Ersatztrupp, and these Stossrupp are getting shot up in the open by the rifles here. They can't fire back, they only have submachine guns at the 100-meter range, so rifles just getting free kills. Grenadiers, one of them's going to go down here. The Humber Mark IV might find a second shot. Oh, Humber Mark IV. Unlucky not to score a second kill there. That's very risky movement from Iadris for sure. See the SBW-204s again contesting here. And, well, looks like Vitch has tried to make a play on this top side, but I mentioned before how it would be very hard to make a push through the open because you get flanked from the high ground. And guess what's happening? We see the B2 that's currently engaging the rifles here. rather than these tanks. And the Flammenwerfer is actually too close to the rifles to fire right now. So it's not. And that's what's allowing the rifles to get the advantage there. Really unfortunate for Iadris that he allowed that to happen. Oh, you see the Jagdpanther now coming on the top side, but that is a dangerous game. He has seen the Typhoon AT already, and, well, I'm sure it'll be ready to strike again soon. On the bottom side, Iadris has managed to overrun this flag. Great job in doing so. Use the Sturm Pioneers alongside the Volksdeutsche to make that happen. There is still 2 Humber Mark IVs down here, however, that will be hard to deal with for these Grenadiers and Volksdeutsche, because they only have the Panzerfaust they can use at close range. Iadris is making ground in the town, in the center. He's got the Stostrup and Grenadiers trying to push up, but we do see the 25-pounder shots coming in. The Stug 3 supporting this push will be able to help pin down, I assume, these rifles is what it's firing at. It's actually just run out of HE ammunition, so that's just the machine gun firing. Iadris is going 16 to 8. You can see the victory time has dropped from almost 30 minutes to 12 minutes as the double tick comes into play. Oh, we do see one of the Humbers go down. Nicely done indeed. Not entirely sure how that happened. The Grenadier must have got the grenades off or something. Actually, never mind. That's an SBW-204 going down. Did that just trade with the Humber Mark IV? I think it did. Yeah, it must have. They're both dead. Alright, this Stug going to be looking for the shots onto the reinforcements. Just need to be able to aim for fast enough. Currently you can see the aim time being reset every time. It needs to start firing at the frontal rifles. Looks like Vitch does not want any of those to die to the Stug after that unit on the road went down. So this one Ersatztruppen is currently the only reason this flag is controlled. Iadris has managed to gain back control of this flag, having killed the rifles. But with the Jagdpanther brought in on the top side, maybe another AA piece here would be ideal. Then you could maybe make a play across the open supported by a Jagdpanther. That would be really, really nice. Be very hard for Vitch to deal with as well, because he would have to rely on the 17-pounders. And considering the amount of artillery that Iadris has, I say that, there's only 3 units left. You just see slowly but surely, like Iadris has been losing these artillery pieces, but has been getting the better of Vitch's artillery as well. These 25-pounders also taking some serious damage. 203mm off map here is going to be getting shots down towards these Ersatztruppen and probably cleaning them up. Grenadiers, oh, they're going to be doing a lot of damage if these rifles don't get into cover, especially with the fire coming in from a Jagdpanther at the end of the town. It looks like Iadris, I'm hoping he had these Jagdpanthers available at least in Phase B, because with Vanguard, you're always going to want to prioritize winning early. And so bringing the Jagdpanthers in Phase C, like a card of them in Phase C, would seem a bit questionable. He's currently got 2. If he brings in a 3rd, then we'll know he did bring in a Phase C card. But I'm going to assume that's a Phase B card for now, which is fair enough. Either way, this flag is captured for now, but more off-map going to be hitting the mark. 203mm off-map once again. Onto this town is going to dislodge a lot of units. Does pin down these units though. Actually, that might just be because of the LEFHs getting the corrected shot on target there. So no shift really in the front line. This flag, however, may be secured once again by Vitch shortly as the rifles come in. But check out the tickets here. Iadris has made a big dent in Vitch's tickets, but you can see the infantry disparity really starting to come into play. Typhoon, that is going to be looking for the shot onto the Jagdpanther. It's got a side shot. Will it get the kill? It will. Jagdpanther very weak in the side compared to the front. And, well, Vitch takes great advantage of that. Now going to be going for the B2 as well here. Really, really good job with these Typhoons. Has managed to kill off the Flakvelings previously because of how aggressive Iadris was with them, and that has opened up the skies massively for Vitch. And now Iadris is only just reacting to that, but the damage is really already done. That's the thing with AA, you do have to preemptively have it to stop future airstrikes as opposed to bringing it in after. And it's a big mistake that I see a lot of players make, is bringing the AA after the damage has already been done. Especially if there's like 2 Typhoon ATs, you've got to think about what targets are actually going to hit. The second Typhoon was forced to hit the one on the bottom, the B2 on the bottom side, and this is only like a 40-point unit. Also, one of those Typhoons costs like 160 points or 150 points or something crazy. So a B2 is not worth it, so it's not even worth bringing in like a flak filling for it. If he plans to bring in like more armor, then a flak filling is definitely worth it. But a lot of players will react with AA after they have their units destroyed by aircraft, when there's not really any more units for the aircraft to get value out of. So you can always just you want to probably have that flak filling, for example, on the top side right now. That would have been a better reaction, so that you can protect this Jagdpanther from suffering the same fate as the one on the bottom side. It's just something to think about anyway. Either way, the Grenadiers here going to be forced out. Flag going back in the favour of Vitch as more rifles flood in. Look how many more are on the way. They're just going to be never ending. It's going to be quite crazy. Whilst Iadris is going to be struggling to keep up, and you can see that's already the case. Grenadiers, 2 more units of Grenadiers coming in for Iadris, 4 more units of rifles coming in for Vitch, and that will certainly start to show soon. Grenadiers in a nice position here are going to get some decent damage down onto the rifles in the open. But the artillery command here is providing 2-star veterancy onto these with the use of the commander currently. That's pretty rough. Oh, Pack 38 on the road. That is sneaky at this point in the game. It's going to be popping 1, 2. There are going to be 3 transports. Not quite. Can he make it 3? He can. There's going to be another unit of rifles going down. These trucks are just forcing their way forwards at the moment. They're going to be all 5 going down. It is indeed 5 units of rifles. Pop, 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 pop. Damn. Nicely done by the Pack 38. That's really, really cheeky at this point in the game. Not often you see players do that, especially when there's artillery on the field. But the artillery has been managed quite well, I feel, by Iadris. He managed to get the better of the 25-pounder. Here we go with the Typhoon. Flak filling's just out of position. Oh, he's lucky not to lose that Jagdpanther. If you can find the kill onto the Typhoon, though, that would be well worth it. Can the flak filling get the job done? It can. Typhoon goes down. Nicely done. So, Grenadiers there going to be unloaded early, but the second squad does not survive a shot from the Churchill 4. Damn, there's just infantry transports going down everywhere. I don't really believe that Vitch losing 5 units of infantry and transports is really even going to make a difference, but he's definitely going to notice that he has a lot less than he brought in. Currently gone back to 12 to 12. We are 34 minutes and 10 seconds into the game. And with the balanced deployment type I mentioned before, Iadris is going to continue to struggle to hold on. LEFH 105mm is going to be hit by the 25-pounders here. It's currently got the counter-battery order coming onto them. But considering the amount of artillery that Vitch brought in at the start, I'm surprised to not see more of it at this point in the game. Now, a nice use of artillery here has pinned down a lot of these rifles, but Iadris going to be failing to surrender them due to the artillery command being nearby. Well, is that his own artillery hitting his own guys? Surely not. Looked like it. Anyway, Typhoon coming in once again. Rockets onto the flak filling. Interesting use of the rockets there. Still has 4 rockets remaining. Might be able to hit the B2, but I reckon he's just going to have that one fall back. This Typhoon is going to come in and hit the Panzer B2. Never mind, went for the Slutsk. I'd say against the infantry here, the B2 is probably more of a better target. HS-129B3 coming in for the attack onto the Churchill 7. A Churchill 7, at this point in the game, when the Jagdpanthers are taken care of, is going to be an absolute nuisance. And while these Bofors, they're going to work on the HS-129, and that's going to go down. These 3 units of rifles isolating a unit of Grenadiers is not good news either for Iadris. Although he is still managing to just about hold on to the 13 to 11 in flags. Artillery has been almost entirely dealt with on Iadris' side. Vitch still continuing with the counter battery. Only got one more piece to go. Don't know if Iadris has more artillery that he can bring in, but so far he's lost a lot of it. Grenadiers, I'm surprised in this position they're still doing really well. But at the moment they're just currently firing at the pinned down unit of rifles. Not really coming under any fire themselves. 2 more units of rifles are going to be heading their way. And we do see 2 crocodiles coming in. These crocodiles, they have the 150mm of frontal armor. Going to be very, very difficult again to deal with them, just like it is with the Churchill 7. And these vehicles supporting a rifle push will slowly but surely do the job. Another ton of infantry coming in. Going to be 8 units of rifles right there. The PaK-38 has been dealt with on the road. And it's only a matter of time until this LEFH 105 mil goes down. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, these grenadiers have maybe bitten off a bit more than they can chew now. These 2 rifles are not pinned like the last ones were, and they have 2-star veterancy. Whilst this grenadier, well, they are on their own. 1 man left, he's a goner, and so is the flag. That's back to 12 to 12. Off map going to be coming down. 203 mil off map. Looks like Vitch has 3 of these in phase C to use. And, well, cleans out that bottom side. Takes back that flag. Another unit of rifles lost in their transport, but Vitch is literally forcing these through here. Doesn't really have to be too careful. That's a really nice HE grenade from the Pioneers though. Takes out 2 units of rifles in one go. Smooth moves indeed. The amount of rifles that are being brought up here though might allow the Pioneers to be pinned down in time. But if that Pioneer gets another HE grenade off, it's going to have claimed about 3 kills, which would be really, really nice. Okay, it's managed to throw the grenade onto that unit. There we go. They're being pinned down. This Pioneer also came forwards and threw a grenade, so those rifles are being chewed up, but, well, would you look at that? It's more rifles, guys. This time make it 9 squads. Whilst Iadris is going to reply with 3 units of grenadiers and a leader. So, there we go. Now, it looks like Iadris has brought in a lot of units into these trees. I don't know if that's in response to this unit of rifles pushing through. Because there were 3 units of rifles here that were engaging a unit of grenadiers, but it seems like these stone pioneers are a bit misplaced up in these trees. Like that's a bit of a, I don't know, a bit of a stretch, thinking that that's going to really save the game from up there, but either way, these units of rifles are really wishing they weren't in the Scots right now, because they are getting murdered as they try and push up. The crocodiles are trying to make ground, but just check out the burning wrecks of these Jagdpanthers. They're not even burning anymore because they've been dead for so long, but the Churchills are moving up nice and close. You don't have to worry about any infantry AT because these grenadiers don't have any AT. That's quite something. These crocodiles, they did manage to get quite stressed. I'm not entirely sure what that was. We do now see a new 380mm off map arriving on this bottom side. I guess that's to make some ground for these grenadiers that are going to bump into a hell of a lot of rifles. This artillery command, not giving them 2-star veterancy anymore because they're too far away from the commander, but this is definitely going to be difficult for the grenadiers to push through. And this Gunfjella, the one man sat on his own, he's in a tough spot, that's for sure. Alright, so yeah, the double crocodile push is continuing, supported by more and more rifles. The rifle management from Vitch hasn't been the best in the late game, but it doesn't really need to be that good. I think what ended up happening there was I had just killed his own Grenfjella with the off-map strike, which left him in a bit of a tough spot, but all of these rifles got pinned, which is really, really nice. Iadris just needs to make sure that he kind of runs towards this as soon as possible so that he can get into position in the edge of this heavy cover. Oh, nice kill onto the leader there, though. Really, really smart moves. 380mm off map. I think that just tried to put a shot down here. Oh, nice kill from the Pak 40. Does manage to take out one of the crocodiles, I believe. Does die in response. Pak 40 unloaded on the main road. Not really sure that's the best place for it. In the front arm, it's going to be very difficult for the APCR to break through the crocodile's armor. The APCR has actually been turned off. Interesting. Pak 40 goes down. Best bet there was an APCR crit. Would have been best onto that crocodile, but not going to be. 3 units of Slutsk on the way to try and deal with that crocodile. Or here comes the off-map. Big off-map. Can it hit the mark? Does manage to land right next to the crocodile. Oh, that was a shot there as well. Managed to hit these rifles nicely. Damn. It looked like it was an emergency off-map potentially. It was quite spread out. Anyway, check out these grenadiers. They've moved into the heavy cover. Absolutely slaughtering these rifles with the 2-star veterancy. Well played with the 380mm off-map on this bottom side. However, unfortunately, Vitch finally has a lead for Iadris. And Iadris is, yeah, I mean, it's been going downhill for a long time, but I've been actually very impressed how long Iadris has been able to hold on to these points. He's still putting pressure onto the top side. This Jagdpanther, I don't know if that's the same Jagdpanther. I guess it is. It's currently trying to move up. Vitch, not really able to go for it because the flak-filling is right in front. This flak-filling is currently attack moving forwards. And not convinced that's the best play, but we'll see. Anyway, Typhoon coming in once again on this bottom side. Look at this pathing. He's done a double waypoint with the move order, and now he's going to manually tell it to fire towards these Slutsk. Will he find the kill onto the rear Slutsk? He will not, but does manage to pin a lot of them, relieving the stress on the crocodile for the time being. ME-109 G6R4 was brought in response, but is going to get forced back by the Bofors. Actually ends up getting shot down as well. Look at these rifles. They pushed all the way through. They captured that point, but here comes another Typhoon. Those Slutsk were damaged previously by the last Typhoon, so very likely to get the kill there. Flak-filling is going to go down on the top side here. On the ridge, gets killed off by the rifles, sorry, at close range. Ooh, the 6-pounder there firing, and the rifles firing as well is going to allow the flak-filling to absolutely demolish that squad. Do you see how quickly those 8 men died? If the flak-filling fires first, it's fine, but otherwise does get itself in a pretty tough position. Flak-filling currently having to go at the Churchill 4. Churchill 4 can't actually engage the flak-filling because it doesn't have any HE on its main gun. And I think the flak-filling actually ended up killing the Churchill there with its overwhelming fire. That is ridiculous. The Typhoon coming in with the strike onto the flak-filling itself. That is cheeky. Going to be pinning that down, doing a bit of damage there. Sturm Pioneer rushes up, captures that point, moves into position. Nice surrender with the Pioneers onto the top side by Iadris. Is bringing himself back into the game. He was back to 13-11 for a second, but losing this flag on the bottom side again. That does bring it back to 12-12. So, Iadris still making plays with the resources he has left on the top side. That's very nice to see, for sure. But it was unfortunate to not see so much progress made in Phase A with the Vanguard deployment type. And I think that's really what has shot Iadris in the foot here. Because by Phase B, he was so close to capturing so many flags. Whereas at that point he needed to be holding them so that the ticker was already going down. Anyway, that's going to be one of the Slutsk 3s back here bailed out. These Churchills making a strong push. More Slutsk coming in. This LEFH 105 finds itself on the front line. There's artillery trying to do a runner. Might want to leave the artillery gun behind, boys. Oh, never mind. You're dead. That's going to be the crocodile firing at that from the ridge. Cleaning that up, I suppose. Damn. things are not looking good on this bottom side for Iadris, that's for sure. He's continued to try and put investment into the top side here. Oh, that Typhoon playing a dangerous game. Flying straight towards the flag fling. Back to 12 to 12. Pioneers managed to capture and put influence over this flag as well. It's quite something. Either way, the push continues on this bottom side, and you can see that I basically mentioned earlier how these Sturm Pioneers are a bit misplaced, because Vitch just doesn't care. He's just bypassing it. He's just going straight through on this bottom side. The only thing he'd be worried about from this hill right now is AT guns. You see the Pak-38 is going to be moving into position there to try and get some shots down onto the Crocodile and the Churchill. Probably going to look for the side shot into the Crocodile first, so that the Slutsk can face off against the Churchill 6s a bit better on their own. But on the bottom side, you can see that there is trouble. The Crocodile here on the ridge is just going to be so hard to dislodge with that front armor once again. These rifles should probably try and make a play forwards on the bottom side, but I think Vitch's attention is otherwise elsewhere, especially with unloading all of these rifles on the top side and trying to make a play back towards these points. But I was mentioning how this might happen in the middle. It's actually turned out that Iadris managed to take the top half of this town, but these rifles are going to be covered very easily by Churchills. Well, I say that, these are Churchill 4s, not Churchill 6s. Churchill 6s would be better in this position because they have the HE support to pin down the Pioneers at range. But they'll still be there to, I guess, prevent the B2s from being too much of an issue. But he's got to get rid of that Jagdpanther. Getting some artillery onto this flak fling is probably a priority for Vitch right now. Surprisingly, these units have found themselves surrounded as they've continued to push up. We do see a Churchill go down there. The Pak-38 did manage to get a crew kill onto the Churchill 4. Typhoon going to be coming in for the last Stug. Pak-40 now having a go as well. Oh, that is nasty. The two shots coming down there at the same time from the Churchill 6s instantly kill that Pak-40. Rifles still pushing forwards here. Going to find some Flammenwerfers, which will probably cause the rifles to get pinned down and then surrendered quite quickly, which will give another flag back to Iadris. That will make it 13 to 11 again. These units are still surrounded due to the movement of these Sturm Pioneers, so Iadris having these in a awkward position has actually paid off because he's managed to move behind this push. The Commandant's still alive somehow, and that's, yeah, encircled this lot for the time being. That will probably remain territory for Vitch for the time being, just because of the amount of units that are there. If that was only one unit, then the encirclement would have closed on them by now. But rifles just pushing up here in the center, going to be getting found by the Grenadiers and Ersatztruppen. We see the rifles have managed to come up and clean out the Pioneers that were in the way in the town, and are now looking for this flag down here. Flag flings coming under artillery fire. Typhoon. Oh, Typhoons from both sides. One of them goes down. That Typhoon almost crashed into the flag flame. That would have been spectacular. But yeah, the second Typhoon gets the kill on the top side onto the Jagdpanther, while the bottom one was almost a distraction but did get shot down. So that flag fling's done its best. Now it's dead. And a huge lead falling over to Vitch right now. 16 to 8. Minor victory in 12 minutes and 25 seconds. Iadris has really been trying his best with what he's got. And it's just such a shame that he hasn't had the ability to gain more ground in the early game, because he would have been so close to winning. But in this case, Vitch has held on, and a great job by Vitch to do so, using his abundance of rifles, I guess. Well, there is more artillery available from Iadris, just brought that in. But probably just down to the last few units that he has available, potentially, because a Vanguard at 50 minutes into a game is usually running pretty dry. And with the Flakvelings being dead on the top side, well, here come the Typhoons. That's going to be looking for the Stug kill. If the first one doesn't do it, then the second one will. Rifles Moving into position there, going to be pushing back these Grenadiers that are being hit by the 25-pounder. Spitfire Mark 9 coming in with a strafing run now. Iadris probably pretty light on the amount of flak-fillings he has left at this point. And therefore the Air Force is going to really become a big issue once again. He did manage to crack down on it for a little while with his flak-fillings, but losing the first 2 flak-fillings due to lazy attack move orders did definitely cost him. This Commandant, what an absolute champion. Still alive in there. Spitfire Mark 9 continuing the strafing run. ME-109 G6R4 coming in for the dogfight. But of course the Bofors are still up. There's a new Bofors like in the town here that's going to do plenty of damage. Especially as the ME-109 flies overhead. Spitfire does go down in reply to the flak-filling. Now it looks like these troops have found themselves surrounded. Down Pioneers being in position on this town has given Iadris a little bit of respite. But these rifles, I guess I'll just run back to the front line whilst these guys run forwards. That will reconnect, they'll get this point back. Still causing the double tick with the 15-9 anyway. Now the 6 units of rifles moving up to the centre. There's no way that Iadris can really match the infantry availability of Vitch anymore. And, well, Iadris made a couple early game mistakes with his transports for sure, but has definitely been a joy to watch. Like, really nice aggressive plays. Vitch has just managed to pull this off, I guess, by superior availability in the late game. The balanced deployment type basically gave him a guaranteed win as it went past like the 40-minute mark. So watch this Typhoon come in. He's always beautiful to watch. It's going for the Stug kill. Actually, never mind. Going to be going for the multi-ammunition. You can just see how little targets he has to work with. A little bit risky. The multi-ammunition doesn't even go down. Did this fire all of its rockets? No, it didn't. Looks like it got pinned just before it did, but it's going to get out of there. Again, we didn't see a full strike, but 16-8 once again. The rifles here in the center, just look how many of them there are. The losses for the 15th in terms of numbers of men is going to be crazy. I don't think the points are going to be too bad, but in terms of like actual numbers, the amount of rifles that have died this game is actually ridiculous. 17-7. Definitely speeding things up now. Vitch as he takes control of a lot of the center of the map. And, well, there we have it. Iadris is going to surrender. And that was, I guess, better time than any to do so. 53 minutes and 34 seconds. A valiant attempt from Iadris to make the Vanguard deployment work. Didn't. Vitch takes the victory. 5,805 kills to 5,085 losses. So, yeah, you can see how close the kills and losses were. There was just no longevity. Well, I say that. We got to like 50 minutes with the Vanguard, so there was some longevity, but not enough that outweighs a balanced deployment type. And balanced deployment type, nice and safe bet if the Vanguard can't get the job done in the early game. It was close. Didn't quite get there. So, yeah, those rifles, when they were 2-star veterancy, did really, really good work. The 25-pounders are fantastic at counter battery, and you can just see that here. The 25-pounder killed 5 artillery guns by itself, and the flak-filling there as well. The Bofors as well, exceptional anti-air. Typhoon managing to pick up 2 Jagdpanthers for itself. Really, really nice kills there. At one point, Iadris did neglect his AA after losing the 2 flak-fillings pushing forwards, and he got punished for that pretty hard, losing 2 Jagdpanthers in that period. That was pretty tough. But those flak-fillings pushing forwards, they can be good. Like, they do kill infantry squads very quickly. You can see how many rifles they do kill, but it's just not worth it in the long run because you just run out of air, like anti-air. Like, as simple as that. And you don't want to keep investing like 100 points into those every time you lose one, because that's quite expensive, especially for a Vanguard moving into phase B and C. So I think being a bit more conservative with those flak-fillings might have been a better idea. Jagdpanther when he got out onto the main road, was really, really nicely positioned. Also, this cheeky Pack 38, I think that was the one that sniped all of these rifles on the main road. That's 7 rifle kills for an AT gun. That's pretty nasty. The 380mm off map doing okay there. And the Flak Fling did claim the Churchill 4 kill, which is quite amusing. Lovely stuff. So what a game that was. Certainly a long one. 53 minutes and 34 seconds. My. What a treat that was for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed that as much as I did. Still got a few more games to go in round 2. We'll look forward to those. But in the meantime, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.